Do you have any Patriots thoughts from camp this week?
Yeah, I did have some Patriots thoughts if you want to do that before you
I
get
do.
back to the callers. Yeah, so I feel like the Patriots have sort of an interesting, I don't want to call it a dilemma, a choice to make based on what's happening along the offensive line. Who do they feel like they need to protect more, Drake May or Will Campbell? Because when you look at what is happening with the offensive line and Jared Wilson and the what I've read and also the couple of practices I've been at, he's clearly one of their five best offensive linemen. It seems like he's kind of locked in now at left guard, but that would mean that the left side of the line, it would be all rookies. And that Will Campbell, who's had a little bit of a tough time of it so far in training camp, when he's out there, when the season starts, he's not going to have a veteran guy to help him or lean on. It's going to be a fellow rookie, two rookies on the left side. So do you do that? And that means Will Campbell doesn't have the benefit of a veteran maybe to help him a little bit. And when I say help him, I don't mean make blocks for him, but just understand what the protections are, explain to him maybe what a team's trying to do, just having that veteran voice. Or the other option is if Wilson is the center, now here's Drake May in year one in the McDaniels system with a lot of responsibility for the checks at the line and setting the protections. And he's doing it with a rookie center who's never been in this system and never been a center in the NFL, having any sort of responsibility for telling the quarterback what he sees and being somebody the quarterback can check with before they make the protection scheme selection. So which one of those things is most beneficial for the team? Which one of those things do they feel like they need the most? And so far, at least, it seems like they've made the choice that, okay, well, Will Campbell will figure it out, even with another rookie next to him. We want to make sure that Drake May has a center who's played center in the NFL before and someone he can, whether it's Ben Brown, I know Garrett Bradbury's hurt, Cole Strange. We want someone who at least has played NFL games to help Drake May out a little bit with setting these protections.
Does it feel like you across the board they haven't done enough up front?
It doesn't seem all that different from last year outside of Wilson. It really doesn't. Morgan Moses, I don't want to panic on that. Felgy, I know you remember this. Do you remember how bad Matt Castle was in a training camp in 2008? Do you remember that?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, he was, and then obviously the injury happened. So sometimes with veteran guys, like training camp can be a little overblown. So I don't want to panic on Morgan Moses. I think ultimately he's going to be an upgrade there. But the overall depth of the offensive line is not, what you would hope it would be. And this is the danger of relying on rookies. And this is where I look at it and say a lot has to go right for some of these predictions of 10, 11 wins. And I know that's not yours. You've educated me on that, Felgy. You're not a 10, 11 win guy. But there are other, can I just say I pulled up to Gillette Stadium the other day and spoke to someone. They're not in football ops, but it's someone I always speak to over there who I love very dearly. And I told them what my prediction for the season was, and I said 7 wins, and they said that's the lowest I've heard, and said 11.
Oh my God.
So no, it's not. It wasn't that, but I'm just saying the optimism around the team is very high.
So I'm relying on the coaching to get more out of the offensive line, but the personnel itself is, especially if I think Will Campbell's going to struggle as a rookie. And so I know he's got ceiling there and potential there, but right out of the chute, I don't know how much better it is really going to be than last year. Maybe just on the margins. So the offensive line is going to be the thing holding him back. How about the stuff it's shaking out at receiver? What are you seeing there?
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at it. I do think they're better than last year. I still question whether they have a true number one, somebody who can dictate coverage. Diggs is certainly a good player at this stage of his career, and we had this discussion, you and I did, Felgy, on BST the other night, Terry McLaurin or Stephon Diggs. At this stage of their careers, I would prefer Terry McLaurin because I think he is a legitimate one. Diggs now has a stretch of more than 20 straight games without a 100-yard receiving game. That last year in Buffalo, he wasn't as effective, and then he was effective last year in Houston and got hurt, but still no 100-yard receiving game. So the overall depth is better. When you look at the receiving core, it's going to have to be elevated by two guys. One is Josh McDaniels employing these guys correctly and doing what he always does, which is creating matchups. Like I go back and think about, I think it was 2016 it might have been, or maybe it was 24. There was a year that basically in the beginning of the year they were really struggling at wide receiver, and it was Josh that was allowing them to get by. He created a mismatch like for Chris Hogan against the Jaguars, and it was all the play call that like got him open. So Josh can do some of that stuff. And then Drake Maye. This is what you hope for when you draft a quarterback in the top 5, is that he's good enough to elevate the talent around him. And I've seen some of that in training camp, some of the off-platform stuff. He had a deep in-cut throw to Pop Douglas on Monday that I really, really liked. And not to bring out the old Mike Mayock elite arm talent, but Drake Maye does have elite arm talent. And no question about that. That's why I was so high on him. That's why you take him in the top 5. So ultimately, it's going to be incumbent upon those two guys, Josh McDaniels and Drake Maye, to get the most out of this wide receiving core. And that sort of moves me to something else I want to talk about, guys, which is, where do you guys think Drake Maye is at in this offense in terms of comfortability? Because that's something that I've had my eye on since the offseason. And he had a couple of quotes earlier this week that, to me, sort of said he's still feeling his way through it.
That's what I think.
You're saying that with a snicker and almost a smile. So is that
because it supports what he believes?
Yeah. So are you saying like it's the old square peg round hole type thing? Like this?
No, I'm not actively rooting against Drake Maye like you, Murray. No.
I'm just kidding. Not accusing you of that. I'm just saying from what you're seeing, is it like 2 + 2 is 5? Like he's
no. No, but I think some of the things this offense asks the quarterback to do can be challenging to learn. And I give Maye credit for this. When he's asked these questions, I think he answers them honestly. So he was asked about the offense this week. He said, I think I'm trying to come from this offense, kind of take the next steps as we go. He was asked about setting the protections. I think it's starting to come along. He's not a guy that's going to give you like false bravado confidence, like if he's not fully confident and comfortable in it. And I don't think he's fully confident or comfortable in it. It doesn't mean he won't get there, but I don't think that that's where he's at this point. And that's something, so many times he's spoken about this offense since the offseason, and it has been a lot of this kind of, I'm making progress. I like where I'm at. It's going to take a while to master it. I like where we are. It's not, I have it down, or yeah, I'm really comfortable and confident in that. So I just want to see how Josh tweaks this thing, how Josh brings him along. And it goes back to the conversations we've had where I need to make sure Josh is, if I'm the Patriots and Mike Vrabel, I need to make sure Josh is molding this offense to Drake Maye and not the other way around.
So 1 to 10, is he at like 3?
I don't think he's at 3. I would say 1 to 10. My guess from what I've seen, he's at 6.
Oh, way too high.
Murray, your thoughts?
It's a little concerning. That's all. I mean, how far back is Josh going to have to dial it back right now if he's struggling at camp like this? See, this is a football. It's traditionally made of brown leather. You got that, Drake? I mean, are we there? Is this, it's concerning what Chris is saying.
Ask him whether there's air in it or feathers.
Hey, look, jury's out on him. That's all I'm saying. I got accused of saying, people say, like Chris said, I don't like him. I got questions is all. That's all.
And fitting him.
I just know you're not someone who sits on the fence, Murray. You either like something or you hate it, especially the older you've gotten.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's just odd that on this one particular guy, you're just kind of like, well, I'm apathetic about this particular person, because you don't really do. You do apathy, but you don't really do apathy in terms of emotions towards people.
Well, he was surrounded with such crap last year that I don't think it's fair one way or the other for me to say, like, this guy stinks, like Trey Lance.
That's all, Murray?
Yeah, that's all I got. Again, I got questions about Drake Maye. That's all. I'm being fair. I think it's okay to be fair.